Hi folks, this is a Drunken Punk and today's feature is about Suicide Squad. Ultimately, I want to know what went wrong. This film had so much potential and could have been the superhero mold breaker. It should have been so much more. But what we got ultimately felt like a wet fish. Now don't get me wrong, it has some good points, it has a lot of bad points. But at this time, when we've got superhero fatigue and we're feeling worn out with all these films being thrown at us, this should have been the game changer. Now, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed Doctor Strange recently and that was quite a good film. So, recommendation, go see it. You'll love it. Now, what did I like? Well, I've got to say the Joker for me could have been something special. But I'm reserving judgment at the moment as I don't quite know how he's going to play off the Batman. To me, they've always had a symbiotic relationship. One feeds off the other. Now, Jared Leto, don't know how you say it, but I'm going to say Leto. I feel he's that psychotic nature in his performance and he could bring something amazing out of Ben Affleck. But this is something we're going to have to wait to see. The other thing I liked was the Killer Croc. Now don't get me wrong, I think the Killer Croc is an awesome villain. But for what I liked about him, I also didn't like something, and we'll come on to that in a minute. Now what I did like was his look. I thought they would have gone down the CGI monstrosity route, made him a big hulking monster that jarred and didn't quite gel, but they didn't. They went physical effects and I fecking loved it. That was a beautiful thing to see on the cinema screen. Next up, what else I liked? Harley Quinn. Now she looked like she just stepped off the freaking pages of a comic book. It was beautiful to see. And her interaction, though brief with the Joker, felt like that comic book interaction from the good old animated series and to a lesser extent the Arkham Asylum games. It felt real, but there wasn't enough. It felt like they cut the balls of this film. It could have and should have been something, but ultimately they didn't have the balls to run with it. Now what I didn't like, well, as mentioned above, I liked the look of Killer Croc, but I also didn't like him when he took his jacket off. His body felt too small and he had a massive head. He didn't look physically intimidating. He didn't look like he could take on the Batman and break him in half. This isn't my Killer Croc from the animated series or the Arkham Asylum games. This just didn't feel right. Now, the other thing I didn't like was Will Smith as Deadshot. Now don't get me wrong, Will Smith, I love him, great guy, but unfortunately this felt like a Will Smith film. He's going to go out, he's going to be the hero, and he's got to save the world at the end of the day. Why for once couldn't he just be a nasty, evil bastard? Why couldn't he get that dark, gritty role and finally sink his teeth into him? Every time we think we're getting something, the rug is pulled out from under us and it's something else, and I'm sick of this with Will Smith. Now, the other thing that hurt this film, and I think a lot of people have said this, is not enough Joker. We all know, and I think Jared Leto himself said, there's over 30 minutes of scenes that were filmed with the Joker that wasn't included. Now, for whatever reason, they didn't put them in. There were even scenes in the trailer that wasn't included in the film. This, to me, hurt it. Why advertise the Joker so prominently when I had it up? There's about 8 minutes of screen time, if that, for him. They made the Joker a focal point when if we hadn't been sold him on the posters, then we wouldn't have been as disappointed. Heck, why couldn't we have had that as a surprise? The Joker slipping into the background. That would have been such an amazing thing to see. We knew who the Suicide Squad was, and then the Joker's floating around in the background. Now, I want to point out, there's an animated film called Assault on Arkham, right? This is done so much better, and if they'd have brought this film to the silver screen, real life, this would have been a better freaking film than what we actually got. Now, ultimately, what pissed me off about this film was its age. Yes, in the UK it's rated 15, but to me it only felt like a PG, or at very most a 12. It didn't feel real, it didn't feel nasty, it didn't feel gritty or violence. Now, don't get me wrong, I am no gorehound, but when violence is put in correctly, it can be something that adds gravitas to a movie. But this, again, and I'll say it every time, feels like it had its balls cut off. There's a scene when Will Smith shoots the guy coming out of police custody, and they're escorting him, I don't know where, and he shoots him in the neck. I'm expecting blood to spurt out at that point. It doesn't. It feels like it should, but it doesn't. And this really pissed me off about the film. Now, I think the problem with this film was we knew too much going into it. The internet knew too much going into it. There was too much about it. How many people can say a film's coming out in a year and a half, but we already know so freaking much? How many people are going to say, don't worry, I'm not going to look at any spoilers, I'm not going to look at anything? You can't help it nowadays. It's everywhere. And unfortunately, I think that hurt this movie. Do I think the movie's great? No, not by a long shot. It's a bloody god-awful film. But is it the worst? No. Is it worse than Batman vs Superman? Again, I didn't enjoy Batman vs Superman, but I think this is a better movie. Worse than Batman vs Superman? Again, I didn't enjoy Batman vs Superman, but I think this is a better movie. So, closing comments. Yes, take this film with a pinch of salt. Understand that this is world building like Batman vs Superman. Do I think this is connective tissue again? I do believe so, in the respect of, I think we've had all these villains thrown at us, so that in the next solo Batman film, when we do go to Arkham, which Ben Affleck, got the characters mixed up there, when Ben Affleck stated that the film will take part in Arkham Asylum, I do believe some of these villains are going to populate there, so we will know them then and we'll have some connection to them. I do believe that's some part of this film. Ultimately then, watch it, turn off your brain and just have a good time. It's a popcorn flick. Isn't it like a Steven Seagal film? Jesus, I can't believe I just said that. But turn off the brain and enjoy. And who knows what the future has for the DC universe. But hopefully they can pull the finger out their ass and do this right. This is a drunk punk signing off. All the best and Godspeed.